What's good, YouTube? It's your boy A-S-V-P T-H-U-G, and welcome to another episode of Industry Plug. So, on today's episode, we're gonna be talking about 4 contracts that upcoming artists need to learn and understand. So without wasting any time, man, let's get to it. Now, the first contract that upcoming stars need to know and understand is what we call the split sheet, right? A split sheet is a written agreement between 2 or more music creators. The contract identifies the contribution that the musical artists made to a song and the amount of percentages that each creator owns to that particular song. For example, let's say you link up with a producer or another artist and you guys make a song. Now, before everyone leaves and goes back home, you have to make sure that everyone fills in their details and their contribution to that song. Now, if you're a beat maker, you'll identify such on the split sheet, and if you wrote lyrics to that song, you'll identify as the composer. And also make sure to fill in the percentage that you own for that song. So let's take, for example, my song Beautiful Scars featuring DOBA.
Said I've been through so much, I say you wouldn't notice, but it's visible through all of my beautiful scars. They tell me my story, yeah.
DOBA wrote the hook to that song, so he identifies as the composer because he wrote the lyrics to that song. And percentage-wise, he owns 50% of that song because it was a collaboration between me and him. Everyone deserves their fair share. Side note, if you wanna check that song out, I'll leave the song's link in the description and also in the comment section. A split sheet is done to prevent issues and complications. For instance, the Seychelles saga. Mans has been complaining that he has never received even a cent from all the hits that he made, and he really has hits, a lot of them. But because he didn't fill in the split sheet, he lost all the money. So please don't make that mistake. Even if you and that artist or producer are close or you're from the same hood, fill in the split sheet. That's your bread. Do not play with your food. A split sheet must include your name and surname, your stage name, contact details, the company that you're under if you're under a label, the percentage that you own to that song or songs, and your signature. The second contract that artists need to know and understand is what we call a publishing agreement. So a publishing agreement is an agreement between an artist, if you're independent, and a publisher, which involves you, the artist, giving or renting out the ownership of your songs to the publisher in exchange of royalties received by the publisher through exposure and exploitations of the songs. So basically, in simple terms, you give out your publishing copyrights to the publisher, and the publisher's job is to get you exposure, either from TV, radio, movies, or other things using your songs. The publisher will take a percentage of your royalties. The third contract that artists need to know and understand is a recording contract. A lot of artists have lost so many things because they didn't understand the contract. For example, the old Ambitious crew. Hell, even the new one. So you need to educate yourself about that. What is a recording contract? A recording contract is a legal agreement between an artist/group and a record label, where the artist creates records for the label to sell and promote, and in return, the artist will receive plus or minus 20% of the royalties generated from the records. Things to look out for in a recording contract. The first one is an advance. People tend to overcomplicate the meaning and purpose of an advance. Please note, it is not free money. An advance is a loan that you must pay back through streams, shows, or even merchandise. That's if you're in a 360 deal. What happens is that a label pays upfront your salary and all the money that you will need in order to create and finish their album. Now, the reason I say their album instead of your album is because upon signing that contract, you give away your music rights and you'll only receive 20%, if you're lucky, from the streams and the sales. So let's say you signed a deal with a major label. They give you an advance of 100K. Then they tell you can do anything you want with that money. And since you've never seen that much money before, you definitely gonna splurge. I mean, who wouldn't? Go out there, buy designer clothes, hotels, girls. They send you to the most expensive studios and you work with A-list producers. You fly your homies out, you go to the booty clubs and have fun. Now when all that is done and the album is out, let's say it's doing good, royalties start clicking in. They take the advance back, which is 100K, and they take that 80% of the royalties that is owed to them, and they give you the last 20%. And with that percentage, with that small percentage, you still have to pay the producer and that expensive studio that you used. So how much money you got left? And that time you're blowing up, you're everywhere, but you're broke. So be careful. Now, the second thing to look out for in the contract is the exclusivity. Is it exclusive to two parties or it's non-exclusive? And the third one is the terms. How long is the contract? A year, 2 years, or even 5 years? And before signing the contract, please get yourself a lawyer to examine and explain everything that's in the contract. Do not allow the label to give you a lawyer, because that lawyer will have the company's best interest at heart. And make sure that you always keep a copy of that contract. The fourth contract that artists need to know and understand is what we call a producer agreement. Like the name says, it's a legal contractual agreement between the artist and the producer. So let's say you work with a dope A-list producer and they agree to work on your album. You have to decide how much the producer will have after everything is done and dusted. This is done to prevent any complications when the song is already out. It is very similar to a split sheet, but instead of involving other artists, it's you and your producer. So those are the 4 contracts that upcoming artists need to learn and understand. So if you learned something by watching this video, do me a favor, hit that sub button, like, and also don't forget to comment. It's your boy A$AP. See you on the next one.
Said I've been through so much, I say you wouldn't notice, but it's visible through all of my beautiful skirt. They're telling my story.